Welcome to the ATP Project. You're with your hosts, Steve and Nicole, and today we're talking about me.
All about
right?
you,
It's
Steve.
all about me today.
All about you today.
Ooh,
I'm
good.
just going to sit back and just, check out and listen.
Check out, eh? Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Look, this is a really exciting podcast for me because we're talking about testosterone.
We are. It's all about the boys today.
I know. Good. Finally. It's always been about the chicks and now, this, PMS, that, and now it's about
Well,
testosterone.
you know what? We don't talk about PMS much
No,
on
we
this,
don't.
but we might. But no, I mean, look, testosterone relates to women as well.
I know.
That's true. But in this podcast specifically, we're going to be talking about men.
Good.
Yeah.
About time.
All about guys.
We talk about aging men too, unfortunately.
We will talk about aging men as well. That's right.
Look, testosterone, obviously a vital hormone made from, DHEA, which is made from pregnenolone and then cholesterol originally. Mm-hmm. And testosterone has it gets stuck in a lot. What are its main functions in the body though for a man?
Yeah.
I mean, why are we so excited about it?
Well, obviously reproduction,
yeah.
sexual health. Obviously it's really important
Stop
for
there.
that.
That's all we need to worry about.
You don't
Sexual
worry about
health.
anything else.
Well, you remember 1989, do you? No, you weren't born in 1989.
1999, 09, maybe just.
Just.
No, I was. I think I was.
I think it was 89. Do you know what the biggest selling drug was?
Viagra.
Yeah.
It had to be.
Had to be. That's when it came out, I think.
Really? No,
Isn't that
99.
amazing? The little blue pills.
1990. That's 30 years ago.
So it overtook HRT. But what I love about that was that Viagra wasn't even actually a drug for your PP. It was for reducing blood pressure.
Yeah.
And they had placebo-controlled trials and the blood pressure didn't change much. So they said, send all your stupid blood pressure pills back. And all the placebos came back, but the Viagra didn't. The men who were on the trial hung on to it. And they said, why? And they said, it's helping with my nightlife. And so that's how it was discovered.
Yeah.
Isn't that remarkable?
A lot of drugs are discovered that way.
Yeah.
They discover what they're designed for is completely what they don't end up getting used for.
I know. And Viagra is one thing, but also, as we know, testosterone is responsible for erectile dysfunction, libido, and all that sort of stuff. But what else does it do? Let's say I go to the gym and I work out. And what does testosterone do there?
Well, it's for tissue growth and repair.
Yes.
So that's really important as well. Immune modulation as well. Yeah,
Yes.
I know. So testosterone is involved in immunity.
Oh, absolutely. That's why when we get older, we typically get autoimmune disease. There's more because we've got less testosterone as we age. Which sucks.
Which we'll talk about as well. There might
I know. But does it make you slim?
It does. So it helps with it helps to inhibit that adipocyte growth. So
fat cell growth.
So it helps to inhibit that. So
that's why we get fatter as we get older.
Yeah, and that's why women do carry more body fat than men. As a rule, primarily because men
Glad
have more
you said that.
testosterone.
You're not getting in trouble for saying that. It's a sexist comment, saying,
Really?
yeah, women are fatter than men. I think I said it.
I mean, I didn't say fatter than men. So I didn't say that.
I know.
We carry more body fat because physiologically, women have to carry children for a lot of them. So we need to have that extra, reserve.
Yep.
So there's lots of different reasons. But we also have less testosterone than men as well. So that is why there's that
Now, estrogen's
factor.
good for women's bones. We know that.
Yeah.
What does testosterone do for men?
Very good for their bones as well. Yeah. So which was interesting. A lot of people wouldn't know that.
No.
Yeah.
No, very interesting.
Yeah. So really important for bone health.
Now, what about, as men age, our cholesterol levels go up? Is that related to testosterone at all?
Yeah. So very protective against cardiovascular diseases as well.
Nice.
So having good levels of testosterone. So really important for that.
God.
Here's one for you, Steve. Mood.
Yeah.
I think we know a lot of men that struggle a little bit with mood that maybe have issues with testosterone levels, can make you a little bit flat.
And I've forgotten the last
down.
health point for it. What else does it do for your mind?
Memory, Steve.
Oh, that's right. Jeez, you can tell I'm getting old.
It's some of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good for memory function as well.
Isn't that good?
Cognitive
Because
function.
great for your brain, and testosterone is protective against Alzheimer's disease. We know that because women get more Alzheimer's than men, unfortunately, because testosterone clears plaques out of the brain, which is very protective.
Yeah.
But of course, I say it a lot, but aging, our testosterone declines about 1% to 3% per annum. All things equal. I mean, there's some conditions that deplete a lot of the testes, but a lot of the testosterone. But where mainly is this God-given hormone from? Where's it made in the body?
Well, it's actually made in the brain. Well, it's Starts in the brain, Steve.
Starts in the brain?
Brain. Starts in the brain. So the hypothalamus sends a signal, so gonadotrophin releasing hormone down to the pituitary.
Yep, GnH, yep.
GnH. And then the pituitary activates FSH.
Follicle stimulating hormone.
Yep, which then stimulates the testes to produce sperm. So that helps with sperm production.
Yep.
And then it also signals LH.
Yep, luteinizing hormone.
Luteinizing hormone. And then that sends the signals to the gonads or the testes to produce testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
So testosterone is produced primarily in the gonads in men. Mm-hmm. So
Don't hold your hand like that when you're saying that because you'll get complaints. She goes, it's built in there.
Well, I wasn't holding it like that. I was getting my hands under the. I'm very I should have been Italian because I talk with my hands.
But when
a lot.
you say it's produced in the gonads, it doesn't. I hope people aren't watching this. It doesn't look good.
That's a good point. We might have to edit that bit out, or just. But yes, it's
leave it in. I reckon.
Primarily produced in the gonads. So.
Yeah. See, people won't forget that because you're giving them pictorials about it. For those who watch on YouTube,
that's right.
For those who are listening, Nic wasn't using her hands in any special way.
No.
Oh God. So why does this all go wrong? I mean, yes, age is one thing, but there's a couple of problems that we can get that cause hypogonadism or low testosterone in men. There's a few general areas that cause that. Do you want to highlight those? What they are basically?
So there's different types of hypergonadism. Mm-hmm. So where are my hands again? So I can't help it. I really should have been Italian.
You do that.
I talk a lot with my hands. Primary hypergonadism. So I can't talk with my hands around.
No,
I need that extra help. So that basically means there's an issue with from the testes.
Okay.
So there's some sort of issue that's preventing the testes from getting messages to produce testosterone. Mm. So that's a primary, and that'll impact obviously testosterone levels and fertility. So, and if you're looking, when we will talk about diagnosis or blood testing and that sort of thing, pathology, generally you'll see a picture of low testosterone and high luteinizing hormone.
Right.
So the luteinizing hormone, because that is the messenger to go to the testes to produce testosterone, if I did it again.
We're going to have a big blurred section there, just like, the blurred, pixelated.
Yeah, pixelated. So the LH keeps going higher and higher because it's screaming at the gonads to produce the testosterone and nothing's happening. And that's why your LH will go up. So that's generally the picture you'll see with primary hypergonadism. Yep. And we also have secondary hypergonadism as well as something different. Yep. And that basically originates in the hypothalamic pituitary
adrenal
that
HBG
kind of
axis.
Yeah. So that's more an issue with the message getting from the brain to the gonads rather than the gonads having the issue. So that in that instance you'll see low testosterone, but you might see low normal FSH and LH. So because they're not actually sending the message down to the testes, so there's something going on in that area instead. So it's primary, secondary, and there's mixed hypergonadism as well, which is a little bit of both. Yeah.
It's now cricket season over here in Australia, and if you get slammed in the nuts with the cricket ball, like we all have done. I used to play cricket. It happens all the time.
That's why you wear a box, Steve.
You do wear a box. Still bloody hurts.
Does it?
Oh.
I've been hit in the leg with a cricket ball. That's painful in the thigh.
Wait till you get hit in the gonads.
No, I've never.
Yeah,
I probably never will get hit in the gonads.
But if you watch the cricket, it happens every time.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's where you bowl. You try and aim about, bale high, which is around that area. So that's primary damage and that sort of thing. So the secondary one is a brain issue. So very interesting. So okay, let's say someone's got this low testosterone. You can give them blood tests and all that thing. But what does the symptom picture look like? What does this low testosterone look like in a man?
So, a lot of people might relate if they're having issues with testosterone. So belly fat's one.
Sucks my gut.
It just sucks his
gut.
You don't have a gut, Steve.
Oh, I don't actually.
No, you're pretty good. You're pretty lean there, Steve. So you must have good levels of testosterone.
Pretty good. I had a test the other day, surprisingly.
There you go.
I was surprised how high it was.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I'm taking a herb that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
That helps with this. So I think I'm cheating a bit.
Wow.
Is it cheating?
I don't think it's cheating. I think it's just enhancing naturally, which is not cheating at all.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's it. So yeah, belly fat.
Yep.
Bone loss as
Ugh,
well. So obviously there's
osteoporosis.
that issue with the
Yeah, people
connection
think that's
with
a
the
chick
bone.
thing.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, obviously it's a little bit more. Can be a little bit more serious in women. They lose more bone because low estrogen obviously causes bone loss in women. But yes, still quite significant. Can be significant in men as well. Low energy. Yeah, so very flat, fatigued. Low sex drive, obviously, is part of it as well. Low muscle mass, losing muscle, that can be part of it. Mood issues, as we said, depression can be quite common, or depressive moods. Brain fog.
What was that?
Yeah, so not
My brain is active because I'm taking something here that's keeping me alert.
You are, yeah. It's a good.
Can I say what I can't really say what it is.
Really say what it is. No, okay. Not bad. Gynecomastia, which is breast development in men.
Call them man boobs.
You can call them man boobs if you.
I think that's what people relate them as, but you see a lot of particularly overweight men with the big bellies, and they've got the breasts.
Yeah.
Which is disturbingly bad for a man, not just aesthetically, but from a physiological
health-wise, very much so.
Real bad sign.
Yeah, and erectile dysfunction.
Oh, that's the worst of them all.
Asking a man, that would probably be one of the worst. Yeah,
said the biggest selling drug. That's how insecure men are. So it's not an anti-cancer drug or an anti-heart disease drug. It's an anti-impotence drug that was number one.
Yeah.
And it still sells.
Yeah. But the interesting thing with erectile dysfunction, a lot of times you don't see low testosterone so much. Initially you can see they have low nitric oxide issues with nitric oxide. So that helps with dilation of the constriction and dilation of the blood vessels. Yeah. So that can be more that problem than the low testosterone primarily. Yeah. So that's
you have low libido. There's lots of causes of erectile dysfunction. We could do a big podcast on it, which would be horrific because talking about that. But yeah, low, like you can have blood vessel damage. Men have cardiovascular disease in the penis, basically.
Yeah.
And the blood vessels can't dilate. So there's blood vessels on the inside of the penis that when they dilate, they squash the venous return, so it fills up with blood, and that's what an erection is. So if you don't get that nitric oxide, you can't get the dilation to start with.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that nitric oxide is broken down by an enzyme called PDE5, phosphodiesterase 5.
Yeah.
And if you can inhibit that, then you get a better erection. And Viagra and Cialis and Tadalafil and all the others that I'm on. They are PDE5 inhibitors.
Yeah.
And we've got a natural PDE5 inhibitor.
We do used to hang out for that one. That's interesting. But yes. So that's an interesting one. But yeah, cardiometabolic disease and diabetics, you'll see erectile dysfunction more in those populations because there is that vascular connection.
Image,
yeah.
All right, so what causes this low testosterone? You know, that's a bit of it's got to be a lot of these causes.
There's a lot. There's quite a lot of different
just whip
causes.
Through these. There's tons.
There's tons. Hypothyroidism can be one. And this is less common in men, hypothyroidism. I don't see it as much, but it's definitely is still there, and that can definitely impact your testosterone production. Traumatic brain injuries, Steve. This one is coming up a lot more. There's so much more research now around traumatic brain injuries, how the impact it does have. I think we've talked about it in previous podcasts, how it relates to gut health and that sort of thing as well, vagus nerve. But yeah, traumatic brain injuries, and that can be anything from guys playing footy and getting hit in the head. A traumatic brain injury doesn't have to be something hugely significant. You could fall off a chair and hit your head on the floor, or it doesn't, have to be anything really, really significant. So any sort of concussion, anything like that, if you've start to have issues after you've, say, had a concussion, that could be related to that.
Do you know what the most common presentation to a hospital is?
Concussion?
Yeah, a PFO, they call it.
PFO.
Piston fell over. No, that's from my nurse wife. PFOs are very common in hospitals. So you can remember that, if you're out drinking, like a lot of guys are, and women, but we're talking about guys, they'll fall over a lot.
That's true.
Or they'll get in a fight and get hit by something.
Well, they'll probably get it, fights.
And then they recover and go play footy, rugby league the next day, and they get more traumatic. I wonder, surprised our brains are even there at all, aren't they?
Well, particularly younger boys playing footy and getting hit in the head, and that can be quite problematic later in life. So, most people have had I've had a concussion. Most people have had concussions.
I used to play AFL football.
Yeah, I used to fall off horses. I used to have many falls.
It's a long way to fall from a horse.
I've broken nearly every bone in my body from horse riding over the years. Yeah, right. I have. So pretty common concussions. Kids being kids, probably more so when we were young, Steve, because we were just like let loose in the concrete playgrounds and the go play in the traffic. My mum used to say, go play in the traffic till we come home.
You may not have heard of an Australian called Dale Buggins, have you?
I haven't.
He was a famous motorcycle guy who jumped cars on his motorbike.
Oh, like
Evel Knievel and Robbie Knievel, those guys. And we'd try and emulate him on a push bike. And of course, fail dramatically a lot of the time. No helmets.
No. I mean, the old homemade ramps, that was common back. So,
one at the front lawn.
Yeah. But
great.
there was no helicopter parents when we were growing up.
No.
Their parents are like, just do whatever.
Nowadays,
We all survived. So traumatic brain injuries can be a factor. Zinc deficiency, which we will talk about zinc at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Really
zinc,
important.
So common in men too. We lose more zinc than women. Please don't ask for details on that one, but we just lose it when we are teenage boys.
That's right.
Lots of it.
Yeah.
Often.
And obviously there's other reasons for zinc deficiencies as well. Like, malabsorption issues, if you've got gut issues
diet.
or terrible diet, that sort of thing. High stress will also deplete zinc levels, obviously, because that malabsorption comes into play.
Jeez.
Excessive alcohol, marijuana is another one, which is relatively common.
In men especially.
In men, yeah. Oh, the marijuana use, the THC.
Oh.
THC specifically will impact testosterone levels.
Yeah. God.
So that can be part of it.
All right, any more bad news?
Environmental exposure, so chemicals, phthalates, the plastics.
Yep.
They call them forever chemicals now. They've changed it. So those sort of things. And also men, a lot, well, actually I shouldn't say that, but a lot of men as well as a lot of women can work in sort of industrial workplaces with a lot of exposure to chemicals as well.
I was an industrial chemist.
Oh, well, there you go. So you're
for 4+ years.
There you go. So
in the early days.
surrounded
Because
by them.
before I did this natural shit, I was a chemist by trade. It was my training. I did double major chemistry and physics, and I worked in a lab for 4 years.
Yeah.
Just over 4 years.
Yeah.
And then left to become a muso. Really up in the career move there.
You went up and then you came down. You're back up again, Steve.
Oh, geez, those are the days. So we're heavily exposed to them.
So that's another quite common factor.
Yep.
Obesity.
That's every man. My age group, I'm 54, 81% of men my age are overweight or obese.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's almost everybody.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It's 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
And that's like your dating pool. When you think about it, it's like they're all overweight.
That's true. Yeah, back in the days in my dating days, it wasn't fun.
Oh no, but it's like men are terrible with their health too. A
lot of men are. I mean, obviously, a lot of our audience aren't because they're all over their health. But that's definitely a factor. And interestingly, because you see a lot more younger boys that are quite obese.
Oh yeah,
up to 50% less testosterone levels, lower testosterone levels than lean boys, younger boys.
Remarkable, isn't it?
So, I mean, if they've got that lower testosterone as boys and they're having weight issues as they get older, they're just going to open up a world of other issues. So,
well, the fat cells aromatase testosterone. In other words, they turn it into estradiol, which is why they get the man boobs and then become estrified, which is terrible for a man.
And you can see there's a lot of younger boys now getting around. And they have you can tell an estrogenic type of body. So they've got a lot of estrogen with around the belly fat, the hips, the breasts, that sort of thing.
Sad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really sad because when they grow up, things could be getting worse. So that's another factor. Metabolic syndrome, so insulin, insulin resistance, that type of thing. This is an interesting one. So LPS translocation through the gut, Steve.
You have to explain this one.
So and we've talked about LPS, so lipopolysaccharides, before. We've talked about them in other podcasts, and there are compounds that are produced by particular proteobacteria in our gut. It's very inflammatory. Can cause a lot of systemic issues. Obviously, if it crosses that gut barrier if there's hyperpermeability, which we've also talked about.
Yep.
So then you're getting inflammation throughout the body from this LPS that can definitely impact your testosterone levels as well. So any sort of gut issues can contribute as well. Here's one that probably most people will go through is chronic stress.
Yep.
Or stress, but chronic stress. So acute stress, obviously, but not many people have acute stress that just comes and then gone and they're back to great.
No, very rare.
Not in this world.
Most of our, a lot of men are married like me, so it's chronic stress. No, I shouldn't say that.
Stress.
Beck doesn't. Sorry, Beck. She does listen.
I don't know how she deals
with it. She was
with
listening
Steve.
to our podcast this morning on
Was she?
gluten. Yeah, because I hear my voice in the background. It's
Oh, do you?
Who's that guy she talking to? Oh, it's me. Oh,
She can't get enough of you, Steve. She doesn't see you. She's listening to you.
She doesn't listen to me face to face, but on the podcast she does.
You know why? Because then you don't answer her back.
Exactly.
She can listen and not have to be interrupted continually by you.
She likes you, by the way.
Does she?
She thinks you're very smart.
Does she?
I said, oh, wait till you
I knew
that. No, I'm joking again.
I knew there was a reason I liked her.
No,
we need to get together. Yes. Stress is definitely one of them. Chronic inflammation. So any type of inflammation.
Me too.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that walk around with inflammation. So that can come from any imbalances in the gut, so infections, things like that, chronic diseases. That sort of thing. So that's really important. And chronic diseases, so diabetes, cancers, cardiovascular disease.
All right. What about the sleep help us get over this stress?
Sleep would help get over the stress. So sleep deprivation is another really significant contributing factor to lower testosterone levels.
When I was playing music, it's like, I don't know if it's sleep deprivation, but we just didn't sleep very well.
Sleep. Well, I mean, and there's that, and impacting your circadian rhythm, which we've talked about. That's definitely going to have a factor as well. So a lot of shift workers will have issues with testosterone levels because of their circadian rhythm is just so out of whack. So, but sleep deprivation or just poor sleep in general doesn't even have to be deprivation. That can impact it as well. Autoimmune diseases.
So me again? Yeah, go on. Yeah, this is great. You sure this is not about?
I know. I think it's got Steve's profile on the front.
Jeez, yeah.
So some specific ones that have been linked to low testosterone are psoriasis, Crohn's disease, MS, rheumatoid arthritis, and lupus. So there's some of the ones that have been had a correlation.
There is a great correlation because you can remember you said earlier that testosterone regulates the immune system.
Yeah.
So if you've got low testosterone, you take off the handbrake and it goes nuts, the immune system.
That's right.
And women have better immune systems than men for many reasons. But one of them, of course, is that they don't have testosterone, which puts a handbrake on the immune system.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 X chromosomes. Because women and men are different,
I heard.
A controversial topic.
I did hear that.
But yeah, absolutely. These 2 X chromosomes are great for the immune system. Well, I've only got 1.
I know. It's like double is good, Steve.
Yeah.
Higher achievers. Hyperlactin.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not as uncommon as you may think.
No.
I've seen it in clinic before.
Yep.
So hyperlactin can be from high stress, can cause hyperlactin.
Yep.
A prolactinoma, which is a tumor on your pituitary. It's benign.
Yeah,
generally.
It's usually anterior pituitary. And so it just pumps out prolactin left, right, and centre. Very dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous for men. We get all sorts of problems. That impotence is the worst one.
Yeah, depression also. Well, obviously all the things that come with low testosterone with that. Underactive thyroid can also cause issues with pituitary.
Yeah.
So medications. Now this one is quite big because what is one of the most commonly prescribed medications?
Oh, antidepressants?
Antidepressants. That can impact your testosterone levels. Pain medication, another one. I mean, how many people on pain medication? Anabolic steroids.
It's funny. I've never had antidepressants in my life.
No, I haven't. But look, you know what? And
just very common.
Very common. And they have their place. And there's some people that they really have a place for, and some people only need them for a short time, and some people need them longer. And there's nothing wrong with being on antidepressants if you need them, but it's very, very common.
Really?
I think
there's a guy here at work, I won't say his name, but he's on strong antidepressants, and it definitely affects his testosterone levels dramatically.
Yeah, very, very much impacts, and which is kind of difficult because you know you lower your testosterone, it lowers your mood, and then so there's a lot involved around all that. But and anabolic steroids, Steve, will lower your natural production of testosterone, which we all know. That's why they do post cycle therapy to try and get their own testosterone back up again.
They usually after they take it, they take a drug called clomiphene, which is a selective estrogen receptor modifier, or SERM as they call them these days, just to sound cool.
Yes.
And that blocks the receptors. So as the body is tricked into thinking that it needs to make more testosterone, so it drives up LH and FSH. Clomiphene's given to women who typically want to fall pregnant because it drives up LH and FSH and they ovulate more.
Yeah.
So it's a fertility drug.
Yeah.
But it's used in men too.
Yeah.
They're giving it to aging men to boost their testosterone too.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So it's a pretty common drug for that. What else?
But that's interestingly, a lot of times it's very difficult to get their natural testosterone production up, and some men can't post anabolic steroids, depending on how long they've been on them.
Oh yeah, especially some of the levels.
Well, there was a guy that died recently as a bodybuilder. He was on Instagram. I can't remember his name.
Rich Piana?
No, different. I can't remember his name. I'm sure people out there remember. But he was on anabolic steroids. He was a huge guy, and he said he had to be on them because he had a genetic condition that meant he couldn't produce his own. I shouldn't laugh. His own testosterone, but
I wouldn't laugh either.
But I suspect it was more from a long time anabolic steroid
Rich Piana
use.
was a famous bodybuilder who openly bragged about steroids online, and he was one of the original guys doing it. And he had super duper large arms. He was a massive unit. Died in his 40s, but and this is well documented that it was probably due to some sort of steroidal abuse because he was over the top huge.
Yeah, I mean, people can go too far with the anabolics. So yeah, that can definitely impact your own natural production when you're coming off them. Obviously, when you're on them, it's suppressing it anyway. Like any.
Full disclosure, I've tried them in the early days, and you feel amazing.
Look, I've known many men that have tried them. So many men.
Absolutely,
it's pretty common. It's just I think if you abuse them, that's probably where the problem comes in.
You feel so much better on them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, and there's nothing wrong with obviously testosterone therapy, just like women with hormonal therapy if you need it. But it's when you're kind of abusing it and going a bit too far, and you're very young, you could be damaging yourself in the future. And then aging.
So why are you looking at me when you say that?
No, Steve, because you're the oldest one in the room.
by a while. But yeah, aging. I mean, so there's literally nothing I can do about that. The clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And I was born then, and it's just like I'm just getting older.
Yeah, but see, I have a theory on this, Steve, and there is a little bit of research that maybe backs this up to a degree. Testosterone levels do decline. I think it's at 1 to 3% per year after the age of
after the age of 19.
Oh, I thought it was 30. Well, after the age of 19.
19, it starts to decline. 19's your sweet. Yeah, that's when guys are like.
That's it. That's their prime.
That's it. After that, it's all downhill. So 20, you're getting old. But no, true. That's just when it peaks.
Yeah.
And leading up to that, from 15 to 19, when it's surging through the roof, you have the mind of a man, teenage boy, just is lost in sex, and you just this new hormone, this new thing that's coming out. You look at girls differently. They don't have girl germs anymore. That's what every young man goes through. They go through, and I remember it. You just chased girls like there was no tomorrow. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's obviously when it peaks. So I mean, it can't stay like that forever. And I guess that's
doesn't.
From an evolutionary standpoint, the younger you are, the more virile you are, the more people you can make. So that's it. So it will come down a little bit. But I have a theory with the aging, when you're getting into your 40s and 50s and beyond, even 30s for some guys, there's so many contributing factors. That is it just purely that their aging is decreasing their testosterone, or is it stressful life, inflammation, poor lifestyle habits, all of that sort of thing is contributing. So I think there's a lot of factors because there's a lot of older men, and men can father children until the day they die, until they're 90, 100.
I don't want to do that.
They still can have enough testosterone to do that. So I think there's a lot of other things that are driving the decreasing testosterone.
Well, a few months ago I had a test, and it was just the good old annual blood test I try and keep up, and I measured total testosterone, and it's supposed to be from 10 to 30 total testosterone. Mine was 19.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Someone your age, Steve.
For my age, it's remarkable for 54.
Wow.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, thought it'd be about 10.
Yeah.
Because then I was going to hit her up for steroids. No, I was.
Damn
it. I'm not adverse to testosterone replacement medicine.
Well, I mean, in any other country, America, it's common. It's common to. I don't understand why in this country hormone replacement is very difficult to.
It's a bugbear.
It's terrible.
In about 20 years, when you go through menopause, they will be throwing HRT at you, hormone replacement therapy.
You'll probably be able to buy it in the chemist.
And if you've got a low thyroid, they're going to throw the hormone at you, thyroid hormone, thyroxine. You got low insulin, you're type 1 diabetic, they're going to throw insulin at you. If you've got low testosterone like me, they're going to go, don't go on that, that'll kill you. And it's like, no, we just want to replace it back to a healthy level.
It's not abusing it, it's just making it so that your body's a little bit more in homeostasis and you can function a little bit better. So there's some of the causes.
Yeah, how do you really diagnose low testosterone though? What are the what's some things you can go through?
So someone came to see me with a lot of symptoms and things like. Obviously, I get blood testing as a standard anyway for everybody. But blood testing is a really good way to look at your androgen levels. Blood testing is probably one of the best ways because we've talked about Dutch testing, and I will talk about that, which is a dried urine test.
Yeah.
It's the gold standard in hormonal testing, but not for androgens.
Oh.
So less so for androgens, believe it or not.
There you
Blood
go.
is actually one of the most accurate, and then the dried urine and saliva is not that accurate either. So blood testing actually one of the best. So
Good.
tests that I would ask for is total testosterone.
Yeah.
So the thing with total testosterone, it measures bound and unbound. So so you're not really 100% sure. It doesn't give you a very accurate measure of what's going on. So if you're doing total testosterone, you also want to get your sex hormone binding globulin done.
Right.
Because that helps to bind up excess androgens, or it can bind up androgens if there's other issues going on. So that would actually show you if you've got very high sex hormone binding globulin, you've bound up a lot of your androgens. So you might be producing a lot, which the total testosterone will say, oh, you're producing a lot, but if your sex hormone binding globulin's high, you're not really, don't have access to a lot.
I wanted to ask the doctor to get that tested, and she said, only if you got low testosterone, we'll do those further
But how do you know?
tests. I know.
How do you know unless you test it?
I know. I just said, while you're tapping me for blood.
Yeah.
But
Do
I know
that.
she's got to justify for
they
Medicare
do have to justify,
and blah,
yeah.
blah, blah.
So you can ask for a free androgen index.
Yep.
And that one will do it's a calculation of your total testosterone and your sex hormone binding globulin. So it gives you a much more accurate measure. So I will usually ask for free androgen, total testosterone free androgen index as well, or at least sex hormone binding globulin.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
And then your FSH and your LH, obviously, to see whether there's any issues with your pituitary or any of those issues. And then your DHEA. I always test
Most
that as
abundant
well.
hormone in the body.
Yeah, and that's produced in your adrenal glands, a little bit in your testes, but your adrenals will, DHA will make testosterone. So, and that can go down as we age. That one's a little bit different.
In America, you can get that from Walmart.
I know. Remember when 7-DHEA came out in Australia?
7-keto DHA.
7-keto, yeah. Yeah, and that did nothing. Anyway.
It was mainly promoted for fat loss, but when you put a ketone group in the DHA, sorry to be the chemist here, but that stops it going down to testosterone. So it was quite safe for women's sake that it wouldn't androgenize them.
Yeah.
So and it helped with fat loss because DHA's
Didn't do it. I tried it. I probably didn't have to lose. It didn't have much fat to lose at the time, but I like to try things at the time. That was a long time ago. So they're the main sort of hormonal profile that you would do. And then you would do your zinc as well, because zinc is impactful in that regard as well. And then some other testing, you'd maybe do a secondary testing. So if you've done all those primary tests and you're still not sort of finding an answer, I would then look at estrogen to see if the male's producing a lot of estrogen or too much estrogen. Thyroid function tests, as we said. A high sensitive CRP, so that's an inflammatory marker. So you see if any inflammation is contributing as well. And then this one is probably the third line, heavy metal testing, depending on the environment. So if there's someone that's works in an industry, they're exposed to a lot of chemicals, that sort of thing, then you'd be looking at maybe doing some heavy metal testing as well. If everything
so
else
the
is
mercury, the arsenics, the leads.
all those things.
Yeah, all those nasty ones.
And then the Dutch. So you can move on to the Dutch.
Yeah.
And they can complement each other depending on the extent of the issues or the symptoms or what's presenting, because the Dutch does show you a lot of really good information. So obviously it's going to show you androgens, but we sort of more focusing on bloods there. But it'll show estrogen levels and if your estrogen and your metabolites of your estrogen, and if you're producing a lot of estrogen, are you metabolizing it? Are you methylating well or are you not methylating? It shows your inflammatory markers. It shows you if your glutathione recycling is working, which is oxidation and all of that sort of thing. So cortisol levels, so cortisol patterns, cortisol awakening responses and patterns. And we can sort of have a look at how the adrenals are functioning and all that sort of thing. So that's sort of a next step up if we want to go really deep. So there's some good diagnostic tools that we use.
It's incredible. You've just described probably most of the males. They're either on medication, they're overweight, they're older. They're all these sorts of things, sleep deprived, they may have an autoimmune disease, maybe on drugs or something. This is most men in Australia.
Yeah, most men.
So getting tested is really important. Like I just had, I wanted all the tests. I always negotiate with the doctor because it's free. But she's got to have justifications about, ordering tests too. So I said, test testosterone and, it was good. And it's like, okay, that's good. But I would have liked all the other ones. But it's
you
all
just
right.
get what, I say to clients, generally, if they're getting tests through the GP, I give them a list.
Yep.
And then I say, get what you can because you're not going to get them all.
Yeah.
And then we can do the rest ourselves, or we can purely do them ourselves and we can get everything we want, but it's out of pocket. So if you're willing to pay out of pocket, we can get any test you want.
Yeah.
So
that's
so there's
what I
that.
like.
Yeah. So there's that option, but just as a general sort of hormonal profile, if you can at least get testosterone and sex hormone binding globulin or free androgen index, it's a good start.
FAI.
Yeah.
Look, that's terrific, and you've probably just now worried every man on the earth about their low testosterone. And so they should be aware about this.
Yeah.
They could have a bit of belly fat, they could have stress in their life, they could be sleep deprived. A lot of men are professionals at work and suffer stress and suffer all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, men suffer stress as much as women. A lot of them have really high pressure jobs and they're trying to look after a family, a lot of them. There's a lot of shift workers. So there's a lot of people that have a lot of stress. Money issues. Everyone has money issues these days, a lot of people.
Crazy.
So that's a factor. So there's nobody that, very few people that would be skating through life without too much stress or sleep deprivation.
Or if they are, they're getting old anyway.
Well, true.
So, I don't
factor.
have a very stressful life, but I'm old. So it's like it's involved. Okay, so, all right, so you've given all this bad news. What can we do as men? We can't reverse the aging process. And they can't quit their jobs. They can't, whatever. But what can they do? What's within a man's power to boost his testosterone?
Yeah. All right, so we look at all the modifiable factors, which means what are things that you can change. Yeah. So lifestyle factors. Right. So diet.
Yep.
So if you're having issues with metabolic syndrome, or you're pre-diabetic, or you just have some issues with weight, then look at your diet. There's a big, easy one to start with.
Oh.
So make sure you're having adequate protein, reduce your sugars in your refined carbohydrates, things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of fruits and vegetables in your diet. All the things we really know about.
All right. So that's another reason to, yes, it's good, protects against cancer, protects against heart disease, protects against diabetes, but protects against low testosterone too.
Yeah, reduces inflammation, obviously. So that's
and men have been a bit funny. They you see people walking around. I remember a guy that came in and he was like rotund. He was morbidly obese, big belly, massive belly, and all I could see was visceral fat in front of my eyes. And he came in and he was worried about a spot on his wrist.
Oh.
And it's like, what about the big beach ball that you got on your shirt? Shouldn't you? They're worried about a little spot here, which may be useful, but what about their big gut that's been sitting there?
It's been more dangerous.
And the women too would talk about their partners. Oh, he's really fit. He used to play soccer and football,
Yeah.
And he's just got a bit of a belly now. And then the guy come in and he's morbidly obese, completely out of shape. But it was sort of like the way they described it. They just accept guys to have big bellies these days.
Yeah. I don't. And look, to be honest, no, I won't say that because I won't say it's easier for men. But women when they get older, there's a lot of other struggles with losing weight, and there can be with men too, particularly men that have high estrogen, a lot of aromatization. Yeah. They can struggle a lot as well. So, but lifestyle-wise, dietary-wise, there's so many things you can do that can be helpful. Lower exercise. So exercise is another one. And if you're not someone who's exercised, I think most of our audience probably all over
probably
it.
do.
But if you're not, you can always start with by walking.
Oh,
It's always something, or swim, something. There's always something you can do.
Always. I always struggle with that with people who don't exercise and, I can't bother going to the gym. And you say, well, I never mentioned gym.
No.
But unlike you, like your main job is a practitioner. So you talk to people about their health all day, every day. I do it because someone finds out what I do and they ask me, and But you see people every day, so you're more experienced about getting through to them to exercise and that sort of thing. But I struggle to, I'm not as good as you at that side of things because I just look at people and go, why aren't you exercising? Why aren't you getting up and just going for a walk before breakfast? Did you just start with that 20-minute walk?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to exercise, and they say weasel words like that. It's like you've got to actually do it.
You've got to actually do it. And I think the beauty of having clients that come to me is they're coming to me anyway, so they've already want to change, so they're willing to change. And most of the clients I see do have relatively healthy lifestyles, so it's not purely all lifestyle related, but. Diet is a massive part. So diet and exercise, really important. Get out there, get some movement, and manage stress management.
Yeah.
Which men are a little bit harder. It's harder to get men to sort of embrace the whole stress management activities.
I know.
I find that a little bit more challenging, but easy things. And we'll do another podcast on stress at some point next year. But deep breathing. Anyone can start with 30 seconds of deep breathing twice a day. They can do it while they're at work. So easy.
Yeah.
So things like that, downtime, delegating extra jobs if you can, so you're not doing so much. Get out with mates, have some downtime. Things like that can be super important and really beneficial to managing your stress. So that can be helpful, and improve your sleep, which we've done a sleep podcast. So, get onto some proper sleep hygiene techniques and things like that to improve the environment. So they're all things that you can do that are really easy, that you can start to incorporate into your life.
Yep.
And make time for them, because if you don't have your health, you don't have a life anyway. So people say, I don't have time. I'm like, well, you'll have all the time in the world when you're dead.
Yeah. There's a funny meme, because I'm into memes, I'm so modern.
You're into memes,
and the doctor's talking to this guy who's overweight, and he says, what fits into your schedule better, half an hour of exercise a day or being dead 24 hours a day?
There you go.
Well, and I know it's harsh, and I know it's whatever, but it's
a fact. It's a fact. If you can't expect to have great health if you don't eat well, and you don't exercise, and you don't manage your stress, and you don't try to get to sleep. There's a lot of confounding factors around it. I agree, and there's a lot of men that have families, and there's single dads just as much as with mums. So there's a lot of issues, but there's always things you can do. So they're really important to start with before you even look at anything else. And then we look at what we can do with supplements and herbs and nutrients.
Now we get to the fun part of things.
And that's where you're going to come in, Steve.
Yeah, I've got heaps of really interesting data. For those who are watching on video, I've got papers in front of me, and I haven't even got to them yet.
No, we're going to get to those.
But start with some of the nutrients that you can.
So these are just some basic nutrients that I would be looking at before we even start looking at any things that help with boosting testosterone production, things like that. Zinc.
Zinc is a really important one.
Really important one. You've got a good paper there.
There's a great paper here, and it's basically, the title's great. It says correlation between serum zinc and testosterone, a systemic review, published in the Journal of Trace Elements Medical Biology, 2023. So that's this year. We record this December 23. So, and what it said is there was 8 clinical trials, 30 animal studies, that zinc deficiency reduces testosterone and zinc supplementation improves testosterone levels. It doesn't get clearer than that.
No.
So with all the studies on animals and humans, you've got to supplement with zinc if you're low in zinc.
Yeah.
And 100%. Most people are low in zinc because it comes from green leafy vegetables and nuts and seeds. You've seen my nuts.
Yes, Steve, I've seen your
I ate a lot
packet
of
nuts that's on the
that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know. Steve.
You had some.
Like mark that. That's his nut joke for the podcast. We've had a nut joke for the podcast.
But it's like, I don't know why a man can't. That's so good for you.
They're very good for you. Nuts. They are. Nuts and seeds. Pumpkin seeds are really high in zinc. Pumpkin seeds. Obviously helps with stress, helps with insulin sensitivity as well. So really important there. It helps with digestion as well. So low in zinc can't digest. And also gut barrier function, zinc as well. So lots of things. So zinc would be my first thing that I'll be looking at. Magnesium. Yeah. Obviously for over 300 to 400 enzymatic functions in the body, we need magnesium for.
Incredible.
Very easily depleted by stress. Poor diets, things like that. But stress will deplete that. And it's good for nervous system function, helps with sleep, brain function, all that sort of thing.
So you can take this in the evening and get a good sleep.
Take it in the evening, take it in the morning. I usually get clients to split it, some in the morning, some in the evening. Vitamin D.
Jeez, good old sunshine vitamin.
Vitamin D, obviously related to the immune system, so immune health, as we said. It helps with thyroid health. It's an antioxidant. So vitamin D is another one. Bones, all that stuff. Really important. Selenium, antioxidant. So really important for that sort of thing. And then your vitamin A, C, and E again for antioxidants. So vitamin E, really good.
Yep.
And also would include omega-3 fatty acids for that anti-inflammatory factor.
Of course, if you got
cardiovascular
absolutely.
Health. So,
and I mean, there's one mineral that's on that list that I love. It's called boron.
Yeah, boron. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't think of boron.
No, and there's nothing boring about boron.
There is nothing boring
Nick's
about boron.
Nick's got a paper in front of her there.
I have.
And basically what it shows is that if you take 3 to 6 milligrams a day, you boost testosterone levels dramatically. Yeah. So, I mean, this is what I love. We've got papers here on zinc and boron, and the other ones are pretty self-explanatory there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just great minerals and vitamins you can take to boost testosterone.
Yeah, and they're standard things. So if you work on lifestyle factors, include some of those standard nutrients, vitamin nutrients, and then we have some really cool ones specifically for testosterone boosting and testosterone production. The boron is definitely not boring. That one's really cool.
But there's actually they've listed here 11 health benefits, and I'm not going to read them all. But there's some really good ones like you're like number 4, boost magnesium absorption.
Oh, there you go.
Reduces CRP is 5.
There you go.
Raises antioxidants 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess the most important point on this is that it actually 3. It beneficially impacts the body's use of estrogen, testosterone, and vitamin D.
There you go.
And it's like,
what's that?
It's got 11 points. I'd bore you to tears if I read it. But I mean, this is just boron. And I mean, it's so hard to get in a supplement. But you've just got to look out for, if you're looking for a supplement to boost testosterone, zinc and boron have got to be in there.
They've got to be like standards.
They're like standard things. But we've got some great herbs that we can talk about too.
Yeah. So let's get into those because these are the really cool ones. So we obviously love our herbs.
All right. Do you want to know my favourite one for testosterone?
Yeah. Tell me your favourite one, Steve.
It's Tonkat Ali.
Uricoma. Classic Tonkat Ali.
I've got, I printed you off and myself off a big review paper on it. Now, a big review paper looks at all the studies on it, and on page 58 of this study called Medicia 2022, it lists all the studies in humans and what's happened to them. So I'm just going to cut to the chase there. Now, dosages for Tonkat is very interesting. Most of these studies are on what they call 100-to-1 extracts, okay? Which was the most potent extract you can get.
Yeah, it was.
Now you can get 200-to-1 extract.
Yeah.
And it's out there.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. So in the olden days, all these studies are on 100-to-1 extract. So you halve it if you're taking 200-to-1. Yeah. So most of these studies are on like 600 milligrams per day for 2 weeks. And one of the studies here, it was a double-blind placebo-controlled trial in healthy young men. So they already had high testosterone of 802, but after 2 weeks, on average, it went to 924.
Wow. And that's from healthy testosterone.
Healthy testosterone levels. Now, if you got low testosterone and you take 200 milligrams, and these are men my age, 40 to 59, they start off at 278.
Yeah.
Shit. And it ends at 400.
Wow. So it almost doubled.
Yeah, almost doubled. And that was over 6 months, though. So it was a longer term. That's for but getting up to the 400 means they're no longer hypogonadal.
Yeah.
So that's remarkable, isn't it? And the placebo group, went nowhere. It didn't do anything. The placebo group didn't increase. It went from 280. It went down. It went from 281 to 258. So and that was the group that was matched controls. So isn't that remarkable?
Wow. And they're on 100-to-1s.
Yeah, 100-to-1s, 200 milligrams.
Yeah.
So I'll skip down to some of the higher dosage ones. The highest dosage one here was 1.7 milligrams per kilogram of body weight.
Oh, my God.
So we're talking, just for my weight, that's around about 1.2 grams or 1,200 milligrams. And it went and this is after 5 weeks. It went from 0.63 nanomoles, so a slightly different way of measuring it, but 0.63 to 1.26 in 5 weeks.
Wow.
So that literally doubled. Now you want to know the cool thing about that?
Yeah.
That was in young men.
Was it?
So 18 to 30-year-olds with healthy BMIs, and there was a placebo-controlled, randomized controlled trial. So 1.7 milligrams per kilo body weight sounds a weird amount, but that's equivalent to taking 600 milligrams of a 200-to-1 extract per day.
Okay.
So look for 600 milligrams of a 200-to-1 extract, and as a young man, you will double your testosterone. And I mean not nearly doubled, 0.63 to 1.26 after 5 weeks. They took a sample after 3 days, and it went from 0.63 to 0.86.
Wow.
So even after 3 days on this stuff, it boosted it dramatically.
Wow.
And isn't that remarkable?
Yeah, that's
great. Now that's the highest dose I've ever seen is 600 milligrams of the 200-to-1 extract.
Not that easy to find, Steve.
No, difficult to find, but look out for it.
Look out for it. It's out there.
Yeah. I mean, that's to me is absolutely remarkable that a young, healthy, healthy weight men aged 18 to 30, that's the prime testosterone city, doubled it.
That's crazy.
Now, isn't that just crazy? That's from this paper that I talked about. It's a double-blind, randomized controlled trial, so that's a great one for the papers. And there's many other studies here where testosterone has always gone up for men with similar studies. But that was the most remarkable one for Tonkat Ali. So 600 milligrams of a 200 to 1 extract. Excellent. Or 1.2 grams of 100 to 1.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, and I mean, and what they did in this paper was they pooled all the results in the graphs, and the people that in the healthy ones, it boosts testosterone, right?
Yeah.
But when you got low testosterone, it boosts it dramatically.
Yeah, which is what you want.
It's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of these studies, the highest dose they gave, as I said, that 1,200 milligrams of 101 or 600 milligrams of a 200 to 1. That's what you got to look out for. How remarkable is that?
No, Tonkat Ali. I mean, you did a podcast on Tonkat Ali a while ago. It's amazing herb.
Oh,
yeah.
love
So
it.
Go back and listen to that one if you want to learn more about it. But amazing test booster.
It's just like, it's remarkable. I mean, doubling your testosterone for a young, healthy man.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave him a whopping dose.
That's great.
It's for an 80 kilo. I'm about 75 to 80 kilos, depending on fluid. So that's my weight. I'm an average weight, healthy man. So
yeah,
love it.
To that. That's great. That's
and
exciting,
it's Tonkat Ali or Uricoma. So there's many different names, Malaysian ginseng.
Yeah.
But everyone knows it as Tonkat, not Tomcat.
No, Tong. Tong.
Yeah, cat. So I love that one. That's a really good one.
That is a really good one.
And we've got other herbs too. We recently did a paper on. We did a little podcast on Shilajit.
We did.
And the magic dose for that one, just to, you can go back and listen to our Shilajit podcast. In fact, go back and listen to all our podcasts. We've done 400 and something, right?
Yeah, a lot.
About 400 and something. Yeah.
426.
426.
Wow.
God,
that's your Christmas listening.
Yeah, yeah. What am I doing over Christmas? Listening to ATP podcast. I'm serious. But if you go back and listen to Tonkat Ali, you can listen to our Tonkat Ali one, but also our Shilajit one. We talked about Shilajit, and the magic dose was 0.5 gram.
Yeah.
500 milligrams per day. And I've got a paper here, which is, I love the title of this.
Yes.
When I was researching for this podcast, I'm going, this is the best paper in the world. It's a review paper again, and it's called "Examining the Effects of Herbs on Testosterone Concentrations in Men," a systemic review. It's like the perfect paper.
It's such a good paper.
Oh, it goes. It's published in Advanced Nutrition 2021, and it goes through all the herbs and all the different things. And of course, one of its favourites is Tonkat Ali. So we don't need to talk about that again, but I would love to. But it goes through all the other herbs too. And the first one, I guess, that we want to look at in this one of my favourites, is Panax ginseng.
Yeah.
Now, there's a big paragraphs on this and how it works and all that sort of stuff. But basically, you really need, it really does boost testosterone in men dramatically. And also it has another side effect, whereas that it helps with, it was an 8-week study on 143 men aged 33 to 79, and they used, Korean ginseng or what they call Asian ginseng. It's the other one thing. And it helps with erectile dysfunction dramatically as well. So you boost your testosterone, but has that effect that we're all chasing. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, really, and I love the sample sizes here. One of the studies ranged from 18 to 79.
Wow.
So it's like
across the board.
That's everybody pretty much.
Everybody pretty much.
So, really, really important. Great herb for testosterone levels. Now, another one you might have even used in your cooking is very good for testosterone, fenugreek.
Use it a lot, Steve.
Yeah.
Use it in clinic a lot, actually, fenugreek.
It's given to women for inducing, we were taught in the olden days to produce milk.
Yeah, lactation.
Yeah. So it's a good one for that. But if you give it to a man, it boosts their testosterone dramatically again.
Yeah.
And basically there's been many, many studies. There's 6 of them listed here, which shows that it boosts testosterone in men. So really, really quite remarkable about boosting testosterone. So it's probably another one of my favourites too, which you should be looking for too.
Yeah.
Because again, I didn't know until I got this sort of paper all sorted, but it increases by around compared to placebo about 20% or 18% compared to placebo. So it does boost testosterone a bit. But, in formulas, you can look for it with other ones too.
Yeah, it's great. It works synergistically well with other herbs
love
as
it.
well.
So that's one of my favourites.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one. But probably my favourite for testosterone, the reason why I like it is because it does so many other things.
If you're going to say saw palmetto, Steve.
Oh, yeah, let's go to saw palmetto.
Oh, because that's one of my favourites.
Yeah. It is.
Leave your favourite for the last.
Screw my favourite. Saw palmetto is great. So tell us, what do you use it for in clinic?
Well, in clinic, I use it for prostate issues. So, people with androgenic issues as well, for women with androgenic alopecia, because it is a DHT blocker. So I use it for that.
That's women balding.
Balding women, that have high androgens. So, But it works differently in women than it does in men.
Amazing, eh?
Yeah. So really, that's what I've used it for a lot in clinic over the years. Saw palmetto. It's one of my favourites actually. But you've got some really good got a really good paper on here for testosterone.
It does, yeah. Look, it's a weird one because it boosts testosterone a little bit, about 7 or 8%. So not much, but hey, who cares? But the reason why I like it is because of the way that it manages testosterone. Yeah. It's very good for, the data on this is quite remarkable. First thing is it's very good anti-inflammatory.
Yeah.
So it reduces inflammation in the body, and as men age, they're very good. But here's some of the headlines from this paper that I'll talk about. What's the name of the paper? It's called The Therapeutic Potential of Saw Palmetto Extract in Neurological Disorders, and it's all about men. So that's what this podcast is all about. It's all about men.
It's all about men.
Very first thing is, and where it's been really, really well researched, is BPH, or benign prostatic hypertrophy. Now, who's got that? Pretty much everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
If you're 70...
Well, not women.
No, women? No.
Everyone except women.
Yeah, exactly. And because if you say it's about your age, so about 50% of men age 50, 60% men. So it's quite common. In fact, it's more common than not. And, my father won't mind me saying this. He's 86, and I gave him, for BPH, saw palmetto.
Yeah.
Dramatically. Only gets up once a night.
Yeah, I've used it so much in clinic for that.
It's perfect.
Great. Yeah.
So, and the way that it also is great in men again for reducing prostatic cancer.
Yeah.
But the reason why I love it is because it's great for erectile dysfunction.
Yes. That's right.
Now, every man should be pricking their ears up right about now, because we all want a better sex life.
That's true.
And this works for that.
That's right.
This is that magic. And the reason how it works is that it inhibits that phosphodiesterase 5.
Yeah.
So it works like Viagra.
That's right.
It's natural. The Viagra gives you side effects like headaches.
Yeah.
And causes vision problems, which is why I'm wearing glasses. Jeez. But, there was a trial done where they had the sexual function inventory was taken in men, and they scored their sexual functioning, and it went from 22 and improved all the way up to 31 in a matter of 2 weeks. Isn't that incredible in one study?
In 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So it really, really helps with that. And it does help with that nitric oxide synthase, so it helps boost that nitric
like
oxide.
Like we were saying earlier, yeah.
So, and again, my favourite sentence of this one says, no adverse effects reported.
What else? What more could you want?
It's like, what did you want? How good is that?
Yeah, that's really good.
So it's one of my favourite herbs for an aging man. I love it. Anti-inflammatory, so it helps with the aches and pains too.
Yeah, and the inflammation obviously impacts testosterone, as we said. So having any more extra anti-inflammatory effects is also beneficial.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's a good one.
Just love it, eh?
That's a good one. That's a good one to look out for in a test booster mix.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now
let's go, Steve. Tell me your absolute favourite.
Well, this is the one I'm taking, so that's what's proved my testosterone. And it's one that we could also talk about for sleep or for stress.
Yeah. I know what you're going to say, Steve. Actually, I have to say this is my favourite herb too.
Is it?
Yeah, I know it's a male herb, but, traditionally it's a male herb, but a lot of women, we give it to a lot of women as well. But yeah, this was actually the second herb I ever learnt about in college.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, first one was Sisyphus, and I hate Sisyphus to this day because
Really?
it was just very hard to do the assignment on it.
Yeah, it's a good one to help you sleep.
Very good. But this one, this is a very good one.
Love it. You want to put them out of the misery. What is it?
I hope it's the same one.
I hope it is.
Withania.
Yes.
Yeah,
We didn't rehearse
We didn't rehearse that, no.
No, Withania is somnifera.
Or ashwagandha, as other
Yep,
people might know it
ashwagandha.
as.
The reason why I say Withania is somnifera because somnifera is Latin for sleep.
Yeah.
So, but we're not talking about sleep in this podcast. We're talking about men's stuff.
Yeah.
And what we know, 4 studies were conducted examining the effects of ashwagandha on testosterone concentration. And 2 of them were used in this special patented extract called KSM-66. Mm-hmm. And what they found was that in the randomized controlled trials, it boosted testosterone dramatically. Now, even in, and I'm going to pick the 28-year-old men, okay, on average they were 28-year-old, they gave them the KSM-66 at a daily dosage of 600 milligrams for 8 weeks, and it increased testosterone on its own by 15.3%.
Wow.
Now, why I like this herb is because it's terrific to help you sleep. It's terrific to help with anxiety and terrific to help with your mind in many, many other ways.
Yeah.
And remember those causes for what cause low testosterone? This helps address that.
Exactly. And it's working on adrenal function, as we've
Yeah.
talked about many times before. Just had a big noise in the background.
It's weird noise.
Yeah, weird noise in productions. So really good for adrenal function.
Yep.
So there's that factor, obviously the sleep, as you said. Yeah.
Absolutely
and then
great.
boosting testosterone levels. How awesome.
And I've got another group here, 32-year-old men.
Mm-hmm.
They supplement with 675 milligrams per day of KSM-66 ashwagandha and it increased testosterone by 17.3%.
Wow. Look at
So it increased it slightly more as you got slightly older.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's good, isn't it? So the lower it sounds like the lower your test is, the more beneficial it is.
Exactly, like Tonkat Ali.
Yeah.
Like very much like Tonkat Ali. So again, what a great herb. I mean, as I said, you could give this. Oh, my wife takes this for her, to help relax after
I give
work.
it to so many clients.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you want that magic 600 milligram amount and you want that KSM-66. Now, we did a podcast on KSM-66
Yeah.
just on its own. So, again, go back and listen to that podcast if you
Has
want.
that come out yet?
It will have by this time it comes
that
out.
podcast is out now.
It's out now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not now, but
now we're in the future.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
We're talking into the future, Steve.
I know, isn't that weird?
It's weird. Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? So another great herb for boosting testosterone. Probably another one that's really good is Tribulus.
Yeah.
Tribulus is another great one for boosting testosterone in men. It boosts it by 27%.
Wow.
If you use the high steroidal one.
Yeah, okay.
So look for a standardized one.
Yeah.
So absolutely remarkable. So that's another good one. This is a 3-month study conducted, found that total testosterone's increased by 27% with a daily intake of 750 milligrams of Tribulus. So there you go. So really, really good herb to boost testosterone as well. And so, you can take these together.
So if you can find a good product with, say, Tonkat Ali and Shilajit.
Yeah, but the only problem with Tonkat.
Yeah, you need a high.
You need that 600 milligrams of 200 to 1.
200. So find one of those, a product that's got that in it.
Yep.
Or you could get maybe a product with, say, zinc.
Yep.
Saw palmetto.
Yep.
Boron.
Yep.
Ashwagandha or Withania.
Ashwagandha, but make sure it's the KSM-66.
KSM-66.
You've got to make sure of that. And any other things in there that like saw palmetto would be great to add to that too.
Yeah.
So when you're formulating, look for these sorts of things out there because if they're all together, and there are formulas around that have this in together, then you can take them and you can really
We're going to get much more, a better effect when you have that synergistic, amount of all those different herbs in there. They're all doing different things as well. So, and really well researched. So,
absolutely. And if you can do that and take that, and you're a man with low testosterone, even if you're a young man, this will boost you, optimize your testosterone. So they're really good things to look for. There's one that Fagotio. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, I have heard of that.
That's a herb that's also being used today.
wow.
There's lots of background noises if you can't.
There's a gorilla in the production at the moment.
We're recording this in a factory.
He's taken over the bar line and he's
absolutely. I don't know what he's doing up
God,
there.
I don't know what they're doing.
Like
Is he fallen off the second floor or something? There's
awesome.
a lot of banging in there.
I don't know if it's coming through the mic.
No, but I hope not.
Now, Fugosia is an interesting one because it is around. It could be promising, but what we know is that when you give it to animals, it can have problems and toxicity effects.
So this is the one that's been in the media a little bit over the last little while as really good test booster.
Yes.
But we've sort of looked at a paper that's thought maybe just be a little bit cautious about it.
Yeah. Now it does go on to say that at dosages, the extract significantly increased sperm count and the testes and other areas. So that's good. But however, when they take blood tests of these animals, in the liver and kidney functions, shows pathologic alterations. Unfortunately, when you look at the liver and kidney, it does cause various degrees of pathological lesions on these animals. And a lot of the animals, they actually had to euthanize.
I mean, look, it's a rat study, but...
It's a rat study.
I don't think I'd be cautious about, if it's something to a rat, I would be cautious.
There's not many studies on humans, and this is why, because you've got to pass an ethics board to get it tested on humans, and you've got to show that it's safe in animals to start with.
Yeah.
These herbs are safe. They've been tested in humans.
Yeah.
This one, there was a good study, but it was combined with Tonkat Ali, and it showed benefits. But Tonkat, there's benefits as well. So... the jury's still out on this one.
Oh, I mean, watch this space to see how it progresses, I guess. I mean, I always think with a lot of these new, I mean, they're not new herbs, but they're newly, trends and things like that. You just got to wait until they've gone through all the testing lines and through to human testing before I'd be really confident in it.
Absolutely. The study shows that it was concluded that the Fugosia increased sperm count, and not toxic to the testes, but suggestive of liver and kidney toxicity. That's what the conclusion of the paper is. So you've got to be a little bit caught. Now, it's a rat.
Yeah,
it's a rat.
It's a rat.
It's a rat.
Yeah.
But, if something's toxic for kidneys and livers in a rat, these are models used for humans. Does it mean that it'll toxic for humans? Doesn't mean it, but it's suggestive. You got to be a bit careful.
You have to be cautious.
Yeah. So any drug or herb has got to go through animal trials first.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And if it fails the animal trials, they can the drug.
Yeah.
This one, jury's out. I'd just be a bit careful of that because of toxicity in animals.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but those other ones we talked about have been tested on humans and are quite safe.
Yeah.
And TGA approved, of course.
So I guess wrap it all up.
Yeah.
If you are having issues with low testosterone, go through some of the causes that we looked at, whether anything sort of fits with your picture, or look for the underlying cause. Definitely work on that, and then including some of the nutrients that we talked about, and then some of these herbs can be really beneficial in helping to get your levels up.
Oh, yeah, and do all those lifestyle things too. That's the
lifestyle
first
comes
thing.
first. Lifestyle stuff always comes first.
Yeah.
Get that sorted out. And then, supplements are called supplements for a reason because they supplement what else you're doing. They're not the main focus. But, there's so much good research on those herbs.
Wow, I mean, Tonkat Ali on its own kicks ass.
Yeah.
Shilajit on its own kicks ass. We did a massive podcast on that just on its own, how it boosts testosterone. And then we've got this tribulus and all the other saw palmettos and all these other cool things, the ashwagandhas. I mean, you do your lifestyle and take the supplements and you're going to have healthy testosterone levels.
Yeah.
Studies show that.
Yeah. It's good, isn't it?
I love it.
It's good.
I'm a bit more optimistic now. I'm 54.
You are.
I'm already on half this stuff, to be honest with you.
But that's the thing. We like to try. Well, I'm not trying that stuff. I don't care about that. We try a lot of stuff to.
I'm taking it because I've got a younger wife.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, you've got 10-year age gap.
10-year age gap.
Keep up with a young, sprightly lady.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gorgeous too.
She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
She's really stunning.
She is. I don't know how you managed to
score
her, Steve.
It's awesome, eh? We're married now, as I see. So
it's
cool, eh?
Stuck with you now.
Yeah. Forever. Gee whiz. Well, that's about all we've got time for. I want to go and take some more of these because I'm inspired.
You are.
Thanks, Nic. You had a great summary today. It's good fun.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Hopefully you guys got something out of that, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
See ya.
Bye. But that's what that's the.
Timestamp out and edit out.
That's right. Highlight of my week.
Oh, that one fell. That would have stung.
Geez, that'll come through the mics.